Good morning and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 56, and I'm continuing the story of King of the Wind. Agba had brought the mare into the birthing stable, or the birthing stall, and was supposed to stay awake and watchful as this mare gave birth, but he fell asleep. And when he awakened, hearing a rustling close by to him, he opened his eyes and wondered if he was still dreaming, because there before him, laying in the straw, the mare standing up over, was this young foal. The mare was licking the foal with her tongue. The foal was still wet. The afterbirth laying there in the straw. Agba could not believe his eyes. He was afraid to breathe. As he watched the little foal, after it was licked and licked, it began to try to raise itself up. First to lay from its side into a, more upright position. And this it accomplished after 4 or 5 tries. But then it began to try to struggle to its feet. Now by this time, dawn was breaking. Ramadan was over, so there was no more worry about fasting for horses or people. But Agba could do nothing but sit there. Now remember, his instructions were to get Signor Achmet when the horse was ready to give birth, and here it had already given birth. The foal continued to struggle onto its wobbly legs, going backwards and forwards as it figured out this new phenomenon, balance. And after it finally was able to stand, it made its way over to its mother and over to her teats, back between her back legs, and began to nurse. At this moment, the door opened and Signor Achmet came in. Now, during the time where Agba, when watching the foal struggle to its feet, he had noticed some very important things. There was on his breast a configuration of fur which was not of the best indications for a horse. But then he noticed on one of the rear feet, in the rear behind the hoof and a little above, a white mark. And this white mark was very auspicious. It was the mark of a fleet and fast and strong horse. So Agba thought, maybe the two will cancel each other out. Signor Achmet came in and he saw these marks as well. He smiled at Agba. The mare had done well. But he looked at her and he said, "This mare will die. There is no way to stop it." He also looked at the horse and he saw the patch of fur on the breast. And seeing this, he even considered putting the little colt to death. But then Agba said, but look. Well, he didn't say, because he couldn't talk. But he brought Signor Achmet's attention to the white mark, the heel of the rear foot. Signor Achmet stood and You could tell he was thinking about the two marks, the one on the chest and the one on the heel. And finally he turned on his heel and walked out. He said, "I leave it in the hands of Allah." And we'll stop the story there.